Bookcase and Coffee presents Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance.
Hey everyone, welcome to a quick shot of romance. I am Becky.
And I am Leah. And it's been a hot minute since you and I have done a quick shot together.
It really has been a hot minute since you and I have done one together. But our TBRs are both like kind of in and out, and we've been doing a ton of trope talks, so we're both kind of all over the place with our reading lists. So,
and we're going to do something tonight we haven't really done too much before because I have discovered my love of audiobooks.
It only took like an interview with an entire audio production company
I know,
and
seriously.
a top-tiered audio narrator and another top-tier audio narrator for you to like, plus like the three top-tier audio narrators that were part of the production company episode.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I just needed a little bit of convincing from other people, apparently.
Right. Because, you know, what I say doesn't matter. People, you should listen to me. Leah doesn't. So on this episode of A Quick Shot of Romance, we are doing kind of a reread, but an audiobook listen. This is the first time we're listening to this audiobook of Dirty Talker by Mira Lyn Kelly. This is book 4 in the Slayers hockey series, which I love. But I do need to say that, like, I loved book 4. I haven't liked the other 2 books after.
Yes, book 4 was a high for us.
It really is.
So the synopsis from Goodreads. His mouth is hot enough to melt the ice. 10 days, that's all I'm asking for, but not one of my NHL teammates is willing to cough up a sister, cousin, or trusted friend to play my fake girlfriend for this wedding. Pucking BS. Yeah, my mouth's been known to get me into places I don't belong, but this class 5 panty melter is on lockdown because the last thing I need is another complication. I'm about to give up when fate delivers the answers to my prayers. I'm not her type. She doesn't date jocks. All this sharp, sexy overachiever wants is a little fun and escape from her career-driven life. It's a simple arrangement. So why am I complicating it?
So the release date on this is March 22nd of 2021. This is a hockey romance, fake date, wedding date, opposites attract. Apparently I really wanted everyone to know it was a hockey romance because I have it in there twice.
Wrote it twice.
And
so
fake,
important we wrote it twice.
And fake relationship. Wade is a super swoony hero. He is a dirty talker. And they have kind of a fun meet cute.
They do. But then when you listen to the book, you see, like, you learn about when he first saw her, which is kind of adorable also.
It is. So again, this is the Slayers hockey. This is book 4. This is absolutely a series of standalones. It can be read completely on its own. Put out percentage is 48%. And the narrators for this audiobook were Ingrid May and Aaron Shedlock. And I am slowly becoming a bit of a huge fan of Aaron Shedlock because he did Catherine Cowell's beautiful Sutter Lake series, and he's got a couple others that I've recently been listening to that.
Yeah, this was my first one for both of these narrators because, again, I am new to the narrator world, but I really liked the way that their voices meshed together.
Yeah, I think they did a really great job of portraying these characters in this book. Because and we'll talk about the meet cute in a minute, but let's talk about Wade a little bit because I think Aaron, he did a really great job of bringing who Wade is as a character. He's obviously, you know, very talented. He's playing professional hockey, but to listen to him talk about it, it's just been by chance because he's the annoying kid that's always showing up, and he just continues to work 10 times harder than everybody else so that he can be where he's supposed to be.
Well, and as you listen to the book, like, his dad is like a big deal. Like, he's the high school football coach, but he played college football, and like the goal was always for him to play football. So he's kind of like the black sheep in a sense. He's not, but he's kind of like the black sheep in the sense that, like, he fell in love with hockey and he decided to pursue that. But like,
the family makes fun of him nonstop about the fact that he doesn't play football.
They're very supportive though, which is like, but they still make fun of him. But I love the family dynamic in this book because they are really supportive, but they're like, really, hockey? Like that's the way you want to go? Like even now, like he's in the NFL and they're like, or the NHL and they're like, hockey, you still want to do this?
Yeah, it's so cute. One of the things we get about Wade that's really done well in this book is just how desperate, like you hear the desperation in the audio narration for his date, how he is desperate because he cannot show up at this wedding. It's his younger brother, right? Older brother.
Yes, younger, I think.
Okay. I thought it was younger too. Younger brother.
Don't quote us on that.
We might be wrong. Now I'm like total. It's 2 years. There's just 2 years between them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crap.
But
okay.
anyway, so he is desperate for this date. And they're sitting at a bar talking, and Wade is basically begging his friends. He's like, are you sure you don't have a sister, a close acquaintance, just somebody that I can take?
He is desperate. He does not want to go to this wedding without
somebody.
A date.
A female beside him. And you want and the one thing too, yes, I knew the way the book ended, but the way his desperation is, the way he described it, you until they get to the house and you see why he is so desperate for this, you really believe that he needs this to happen.
Yeah. I'll also say Wade might be one of the most thoughtful heroes ever. It's almost he's a bit humble about who he is and where he comes from, and he just wants to be low-key. He wants to play hockey. He wants to make his family proud. He is a mama's boy.
Oh, he totally is. But I think part of it is the fact that he recognizes how hard he had to work to get to where he is. He had to work to play at college. He had to work to gain his spot in the AHL. He had to work to get that next step up. So he really he appreciates the fact that he is where he is. He does not take it for granted. Now that he's an NHL player, he's not oh, I'm in the NHL, I can do what I want. He continually is working to create this goal of his.
And he's in the middle of a contract negotiation. It is off season. It is summer. He's going home for a wedding. He could totally slough off, but he's still out running every morning. It's 10 days. 10 days of not exercising isn't going to kill a guy that's in this kind of health, but he takes it so seriously. So he's running 6-10 miles and, really pushing himself.
If Harlow can keep up with him.
Oh my God, that was the funniest.
Really funny.
So let's talk about the meet cute before we get into who Harlow is. So in the audiobook, you learn that Wade actually met her in an elevator at the bank that she works at and that his financial planner is at. And but Harlow does not think that is their first. She doesn't remember that meet cute.
No, and honestly, she kind of forgets how they meet a little bit at the bar too, because she's super drunk.
Well, so she's at the bar. She was kind of the third wheel that was she was invited to be the fourth at a bachelorette party for one of her coworkers, and she was kind of dragged along. She didn't really want to have been there. She'd had a bad couple days at work. And she is drunk on snowflake martinis, which, Mira Lyn Kelly, if you're listening to this and you would like to send me that recipe, I would absolutely like to know what is in a snowflake martini, because I'm in. But the next morning...
Did you Google it?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
The next morning, Harlow... I did not have time for that. The next day, Harlow is supposed to meet Wade at a bar, at a pub, for lunch and to talk about the plan of being his fake wedding date.
But she doesn't remember his name.
Or what he looks like. She sits down with a different one of his teammates at the bar.
Who, she even, comments, she didn't think he was the right guy. But she had a lot of snowflake martinis, so she's thinking her memory is not correct.
And Wade just sits there and watches it happen, like as she interacts with him, and the guy's trying to get her to go out on a date and hook up with him. And finally, like, she's like, no, thank you. I'm just not interested. I know we had plans, but it's not happening for me. I just can't. And Wade steps in. He's like, so are we ready to have lunch now? She's like, oh,
she's like, shit.
oh,
This is the one that I need to be talking to, because she's trying to back out. Like, she wants out of this situation. She's like, what the fuck did I agree to?
right. She might have had a lot to drink. Well, so let's talk about Harlow, because she, we often talk about Grumpy Sunshine. She's a little bit of a female grumpy.
She is like her, but when you hear her backstory, like, she is this woman who is striving for acceptance from people in her life, and she works so hard to get it, but she never does. Like, nothing she does is good enough, so she's kind of stuck, but she refuses to move past it. Like, she needs this acceptance, she wants it, so this is like her life goal, to get this acceptance. And there's some really pivotal moments in the book, like later on, where she's like, it's never going to happen.
No, and I forgot, and I don't want to spoil this for anybody who hasn't read or listened to this book yet. She really makes a tough choice.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it looks like, you might think, oh, she picked Wade. She didn't. She picked herself.
Mm-hmm.
She picked herself. She gave some boundaries, and she stuck to those boundaries. And I kind of had forgotten that piece. I guess in my brain, I thought she didn't pick herself. And
well, but I think you thought it because of the way that it happened.
Yeah.
Because the way the threats are thrown down, and the way that, like, all of, like, that culminates, it ties into her relationship with him. But at the same time, she's like, she has this epiphany moment where it's like, no matter what I do or who I do it with, it's not going to be enough.
No. She is a little bit of an aloof character and a little standoffish, but as you get to know about her background, and I really loved those really sweet moments with Wade's mom, Grace. Holy crap, there's this really funny moment where they are working on the nameplate holders and decorations for the tables.
Yeah.
And they give Wade glue and glitter, but his mom's actually not giving him real ones, because he ends up with like jewels glued to his head and glitter in his hair. He's a hot freaking mess.
He's like a toddler who you should never give those things to.
But then he goes and takes a shower. His mother sends him to the shower. He's not even allowed to use the good shower. He has to use the one that for when like they're dirty. And
puts on these sweatpants from like
middle
15
school
years ago.
And his mom's reaction, which is like, whoa.
She's like, please back away.
Back away. Get that out of my face. Could you sit down?
Yeah, she basically tells him to go hide.
Yeah, she's like banished him to the bedroom.
And then she tells him to lock the door.
Yeah, because nobody should see that. And oh my god, but I had forgotten that part with the glitter and like in his hair. And
well, and like Harlow has to like clean it off of him because it's like it is everywhere.
Yeah.
But honestly, like that's one of the sweetest moments with the two of them too.
It really was. It was so sweet. So one of the best lines in this whole book, and I just had messaged Mira Lyn a couple weeks ago about this, is Harlow is kind of giving Wade the cold shoulder. They're staying in a hotel room together. He's sleeping on the pullout. She's sleeping in the bedroom.
They're having little moments,
but he's
neither
very
one of them are
attracted to her.
Like acting on it. Well, but Harlow's so like, she's almost confused in what she's feeling for him. So she's like, is he flirting with me for real? Or is it not?
Right. It's the confusion that goes in with the whole fake dating piece of this. You know, are these real feelings, or is he just doing these moments because like they're soap opera kissing and standing at odd angles so that people will think they're together?
Soap opera kisses.
Well, and he talks about it with such detail. She's like, Wade, were you watching the soap operas or was grandma watching the soap operas? And he's like, it might have been me. But he calls his buddy Axel, and
such a dumbass.
He's like, Axel, how do I get her? Like, how do I get her to move past the whole fake dating, we're friends, to, touching?
How do I make my move, basically?
Yeah. And he's like, be the bunny. And then he has the bunny text him with the moves.
He has to be the bunny.
He's just like,
but the thing is,
nonstop.
It works.
Totally works. Be the bunny.
Be the bunny. Yeah. And to hear Aaron say that, like, I just laughed really hard in that moment, because I knew that part was coming since I had already read the book. Like, I knew it was coming. So like when he's like, be the bunny, but it's so serious, and I was like, I cracked up a little bit.
It's so funny. And having chatted and spoke with Aaron Shedlock before, I could totally see him giving that kind of advice in real life. Like, oh
my God, yes,
like.
Good. Yes.
I do want to say though, I think that the female narrator, Ingrid May, she did a really phenomenal job. She has a character that was very kind of aloof and a little buttoned up, and who has kind of this tragic backstory, but with the way that she narrates her, she brings this warmth into her. And as a listener, I just want to give her a hug. I loved Harlow even more listening to Ingrid,
And honestly, like when it first switched to the female narration, because the book opens in Wade's point of view. So when it first switched to the female narration, I was like, I don't know if this fits. Like, it was a little too bubbly for me in a sense. But as you keep listening, you're like, this voice and the way in which she does this narration is perfect. Like, it flows so well because she really gets that essence of Harlow. Because like deep down, like as you get to know Harlow, she has this bubbliness to her that she just needs brought out. And I thought that I wasn't sure if I was going to like the way that she did the character from the get-go, but as I listened through that first chapter in her point of view, I was like, it works really, really well, because she got those aloof like undertones, but really the heart of Harlow's character at the same time.
Yeah. So let's real quick, and I don't want to spoil, but part of the reason that, and we learned this like in chapter 3, part of the reason that Wade is desperate for a date for the wedding is this family friend, Kelsey.
Yes.
Kelsey was a friend of his from high school, and her life has not been great.
Yeah.
And some things have happened, and basically the family has kind of adopted her.
Yeah. So she lives with, well, I don't know if she still does, but she had moved in with his parents.
She does. She still lives with his parents. But all the while she is carrying a torch for Wade. She thinks that Wade is going to, when he's done in the NHL, he's going to move back to the small town. He is going to coach hockey there. They're going to get married. They're going to have babies together. She will have this permanent family with the Grady's, and almost to a desperation, and like a little stalkerish. Like,
she's a little bit bonkers town.
Yeah, a lot bonkers town.
Well, because as Wade tells Harlow like their history and some of the things that she's done, and he's never said anything about it because he feels bad in the sense that like she didn't have this good home life, and so he doesn't want her like pushed out, but at the same time, like it doesn't matter what he says, like in how he deals with her, like she doesn't understand, like he is never going to feel the same way about her. And that's the motivation in bringing Harlow in, because he needs that finite act that hopefully changes things.
Yeah. And so I won't spoil how that goes and how things work forward between all of them. Just know she is bonkers, but Wade and Harlow do get an HEA.
They do.
Okay, so we listened to the audiobook. Did you enjoy this audiobook?
I did. I liked it a lot. Like, I thought that the narration worked really well with the characters. I thought the voices matched the character. And I thought the two voices flowed well together.
Yeah. I agree. I really enjoyed this as a dual narration. I really felt like they brought a next level to these. I already liked these characters, but the way that they perform them and interpret them, they brought them to a next level, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. So who would typically like this book? Who do you think would like this audiobook?
I mean, if you like an audiobook, this is one that you're going to like. If you like listening to audiobooks, I don't foresee you not liking the way this one plays out.
No, and I know for me, sometimes audio narrators can be hit or miss. These two do not step outside the character box. They're very, it's exactly what I wanted. It wasn't any over the top performances. The voices didn't, start to feel long or drawn out. It was just really, really well done.
Well, it was really steady too. There wasn't any like lull in the way in which because I've listened to one recently where by the end of the book, like I almost felt like the narrator was bored with the book. And so by the end of the book, I was like, oh man, they're kind of ruining this book for me. But I didn't feel that in this. Like they had the same energy from word one to word, the last word.
I agree. Would you recommend this audiobook?
I definitely would. As new to audio, I would definitely recommend this one because I really enjoyed it.
I would too. This is through Dreamscape Media, and they are a very good production house and do a really great job in editing and in their audiobooks. They're really high quality. So I absolutely would recommend this audiobook, particularly if you like hockey romance and you just need something to listen to your ears when you're not catching up on an episode of Buzzing About Romance, then you should absolutely check out Dirty Talker. Okay. Do you have a book you think we should review for a quick shot of romance? Send us an email to thebees@bookcaseandcoffee.com. Leah, thanks for listening to Dirty Talker with me.
Of course. It was good. I really enjoyed it. But I will say I have to have read a book before I can audio it. So it's a good test.
It is a good test. Until next time, everyone.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.